You can manifest money coming into you from many different ways. I was like, wow, oh, wow, this is really going to happen. And instead of like a $5 balance, it was $45,000. And $45,000 to me is a big prize.
Welcome to Lottery Dreams and Fortune. I am so excited to be joined here right now with Angela for this very special short testimonial. But she has a very inspiring experience involving, she believes in manifestation, but she just had this 45,000 win. She's in New Zealand, but she also had an unexpected 1,000 come into her account before that. But Angela, how are you doing today?
Yeah, I'm doing well, thanks.
Yeah, so what happened with this win and with this money that was not expected that landed in your account? How did this happen?
Like all your viewers, I really enjoy watching your interviews, and a lot of them resonate with me. And one of your recent winners that you interviewed, her name was Seven. I followed her YouTube channel. I was in bed on a Sunday night, and a short popped up, and it was a red candle magic short of hers. And so I just followed the instructions, and because it was a short, it really didn't take any time at all. I might have watched the short about 3 times. And it was basically light a red candle and ask Saint Expedite to bring you fast money. So I followed the instructions and did that. So it was really weird. Like I'm interested in a lot of your winners where they say they actually feel the win coming before the on the day or whatever. So I woke up quite early, and I just had this real feeling of excitement, and it's a feeling I haven't really felt before. So much so that I started, doing the usual, which was dreaming about your new home and your new car. But I went through my normal morning routine, and the feeling of excitement stayed with me. Went out for my walk. And when I came back from my walk, about 5 minutes after I returned, I got a call from my mother, and she told me that she was going to return some money she reckoned she owed me, and which was $1,000. I was starting to get a bit hairy there. With I had a few bills to pay, and I couldn't see a way of any money coming in. So I was just, oh, thank God, and I was just like, oh, this is a real blessing. And I was like, yeah, great. So it was that sense of peace that you get when some extra money comes in. And it was only the next day, and that's when I emailed you, Timothy, that I remembered that I'd watched that short the night before. I didn't remember to start with.
Well, congratulations. And you came across this 1,000 that came into your account unexpectedly after watching this short on YouTube of this person that was also featured on this channel. And you did a technique that purposefully, correct me if I'm wrong, but to purposely to try and manifest money right before this happened after you watched this video, right?
Yes, yes, that's right. And it was specifically to manifest fast money, she said.
And what was the technique?
It was light a red candle. We call it candle magic. I'm a tarot reader, so we call it candle magic. But I think is probably more like a Christian prayer to her, because Saint Expedite. But yeah, it was just light a red candle and ask Saint Expedite for fast money. Literally that. And I didn't have a red candle to hand. So I just watched her short and utilised the red candle that she had burning on the short. I mean, I watched the short about 3 times. It took less than a minute, really. But it's from watching your channel, I think, from learning to recognise that $1,000 coming in unexpectedly is something to celebrate. Like, it's not the first time I've ever had money in my life, but I probably would just go, oh, well, that's money for hard work, a job well done type thing. I must say that really worked on that Tuesday. So it was great. I emailed you and you responded quite quickly, and I was like, great. And like a lot of your winners, I use the manifestation technique of going, I'm going to be interviewed by Timothy, when I have my big win. The $1,000 that came in unexpectedly was the Monday. On the Thursday, I get a phone call from my insurance company saying that I'm going to receive a payout, and that's going to be around $10,000, although I haven't finalized that. Insurance companies, they take a while. So then I was just like, wow, this manifestation is just ongoing. Like, this is great. I never really felt that excitement again. It was just more the sense of peace and calm.
So this 1,000 came into your account unexpectedly, and then this 10,000 impending from this insurance. But you mentioned that you feel peace now. But when these things first happened, and you knew that you did this manifestation technique with the watching the red candle, and then this did happen in real life, did you put the two together? And if so, how did that feel at the time?
I didn't put it together at the on the day, but it's like the next day when I'm reflecting over it, was when I was like, oh, actually, this wasn't just something that happened. This was me intentionally manifesting it. Yeah. You can manifest money coming into you from many different ways, not just a lottery winning or whatever. And the two common ways people get unexpected money are insurance payouts and inheritances. But most people don't want to manifest. The reason why they focus on a lottery win is because to get an insurance payout, you must have had to go through a disaster. So you don't want that to happen. And for an inheritance, one of your loved ones must have to die. So neither of them are that, fantastic. You might get an inheritance, but if you lose your loved one, it's a sort of a mixed blessing type thing.
Yeah, that's a good point, that the negative can come with those, or a cost can come, perceived anyway, for some people with that sort of thing. If you do win something, whether it's a lottery or something else, such as you just won 45,000, so this did just happen to you. I mean, what happened with that?
Yeah, so the following week was on a Wednesday. And it was something I probably hadn't really thought about because I'm not really a sophisticated sports bettor. I usually just bet on my team to win, which is usually something like you bet $5 and you win $10. So nothing that terribly exciting. It's just thing. But the funny thing was, I was actually round at the place I'm staying at now, and I had watched Seven's short, that Red Candle short again. So I did it again. And then I went round to my mother's because I was looking after the cat. And I decided to hang out there and watch, and I flicked through my phone, flicked through the TAB account, which was the betting. I was like, oh, the cricket's on today. I didn't even realize it was on. So I was like, right, that's what I'm going to do this afternoon. Won't worry about anything else I've got planned. I'll just watch the cricket. Because if you guys don't know, cricket, it takes a long time. It's a long game. So I was like, yeah, I'll put a bet on. And the TAB, they often have these promotions, and they said, bet on a multi and you'll get your money back. So I click on the multi and do this three-way bet. There's three legs, so you basically need the three wins. So as you're watching the game, it'll be like, oh yeah, one leg, that part one. So I was just like, oh great. And as I said, it was a feeling of peace rather than excitement. It was just sort of a peace. Like often I can get quite nervous, like when I'm watching sport or if I've got a bet or if I've got a lottery ticket or whatever, I'm nervous. Like as in, am I going to win? Am I going to win? Am I going to win? And then I don't. So this was more a sense of peace, just like, letting it all, being in the flow really. Later on that night, as I realized we're getting very, very close to this $45,000 bet coming in, I was like, wow, oh, wow, this is really going to happen. And it wasn't until the very last ball that the batter that I needed to get another few runs to he needed to get the highest score and get our team to win. So he did that on the very last ball of the game, which was about 10:30 at night or something like that, 10 o'clock at night. Yeah, and I was just like, oh my god, I've done it. And it's a I know when you've interviewed lottery winners or winners of really big prizes, and $45,000 to me is a big prize. You can't believe it to start with. And of course, it doesn't take long, but it takes about 5 minutes for the TAB app to refresh. And I think they go through some processes before they update your account, checking everything. So it only took 5 minutes, and then my app was updated. And instead of like a $5 balance, it was $45,000.
Wow, congratulations. That is amazing. This was like through your phone or through the computer, just through
Yeah, it's an app on
at
my
home?
phone. Yeah.
Mhm. And you mentioned that you felt peace. So it was different for you in this win and previously in that you felt a peace. And some people with manifestation say that there's a letting go, so to speak, in your mind where you can't control everything. You just let go. Would you say that's what happened, or how
Yeah,
would
I
you
think
phrase
so. I think so. I think when you're like fixated on the outcome, like for example, when I'm on Wednesdays and Saturdays is when the lottery is, the lottery days. And I do think all afternoon, oh, am I going to win? Am I going to win? And I don't think that's a winning strategy. I think you just need to, just, yeah, let it all go. Whatever happens, be in the flow type thing. Yeah.
Yeah, and I want to ask your advice on manifesting, but before I get to that, do you have any big plans with this 45,000 win?
Yeah, I do actually. I have been planning a trip to China and Cambodia all year. So I've been waiting for the outcome of something else that is not winnings, but projects I've been working on, and that still hasn't come through. So that's why I've been planning this big trip. But I was just like, right, if I manifest in this money quickly, I will. I already had the list of things I was going to do, which is. Pay some bills. I've got a 50th to plan, and I haven't really got that far with that, and that's in less than 2 months now. So I'm not sure if I'm going to be able to organise that while I'm overseas. But yeah, I've booked this trip to China and Cambodia, and I fly out next week.
Amazing. Well, safe travels to you. And then
Yeah, thank you.
real quick, real quick, because different countries are different. Do they tax on that sort of thing in New
No,
Zealand?
no, 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 no.
Okay.
Gifts and inheritances aren't taxed. We don't get taxed on capital gains or winnings or anything like that.
Hmm. But if you do win, and it's a good problem to have if you do have to worry about taxes, but if you don't, that's even better. But if you do win, or you're trying to win, you're trying to put yourself in that position and you believe in manifestation, or you're at least open minded to it, then what would you tell someone from this experience with this win and with the 1,000 coming into your account and your recent experiences with the candle and watching this channel, all of this, what would you tell someone? What's your best advice to manifest money?
You need to relax about it. You just need to set the intention, do the whatever your manifestation technique is. If it is like, thinking that you're going to be on your show, talking about your win, whatever it is, do that and then just put it aside. You don't need to consistently think about it every minute of the day. So just move on and with your life and do the next thing on your list. But also you need to be in this money flow because I also remember something that sticks out from another YouTuber that I was watching last year, Andrea Schumann, and she was telling the story about how she's a YouTuber, so income comes from YouTube, and I think some other self-employed activities. So she was telling the story about how she went through her credit card statement and she was like, "Oh gosh, I've got so many subscriptions, hundreds of dollars worth of subscriptions going out every month." And I think we all go through this as well, where there's only so many TV streaming channels that you can subscribe to that you can watch, and so it resonated with me because I always think, why would you be subscribed to so many? What a waste of money. So she went through the same thing, and she cancelled a lot of her subscriptions because she's like, oh, I'm not even using those or whatever. And she said that her income just went like that, from self-employed. It just took this major dive. And so yeah, she went back and resubscribed to all of those, and it went back up again. So that was another thing. Before this $1,000, as I said, my financial situation was getting a bit hairy, where I had some bills to pay, which I didn't know how I was going to pay. My sister had contacted me and said, "Oh, we've got tickets to this $100 charity event that I really wanted to go." And I was like, "Oh, that's a lot of money." But I was just like, no, I want to do it. I'm in the flow, you can't stop. And yeah, it's funny. That was the week before. So make sure you're in
Wow.
the flow. Don't, I mean, obviously you have to be financially responsible, but also make sure that you're in the flow. Don't sit at home on your couch by yourself going, I can't go out or whatever, because that really doesn't that that stops the flow altogether.
Yeah, in the flow state, and always play responsibly if you're playing the lottery or anything like that, as you mentioned, of course.
Other thing I've been doing, I used to, like, if I was feeling lucky and I was getting lottery tickets, I might buy several lottery tickets, thinking, right, I'm manifesting the win. But from watching your channel, the winners who win like major prizes, like $1 million or whatever, there was about three of them who said they won on the very first line. So after thinking about all this, I've decided that I just buy the one ticket, because if you're going to win, you're going to win. And if you have three tickets, and for us, a ticket, you might have many lines on one ticket. So I'm talking about, we'll still have a few lines, but just the one ticket. So if, let's say, if you have three tickets, you think that you're hedging your bets, but actually you're saying that you don't believe that it's going to happen. So that's the other thing, is like, with of now, when I'm doing the sports betting and that day as well, previously I would take multiple bets on the different things, the different options. So for example, let's say I had three small bets, and each bet would be the opposite to what the other one is, so they couldn't all three come in at the same time. So now I'm just like, you just do the one bet. If it's a multi bet, you've got that on purpose to come together. But like, just that one bet, that one ticket, and just leave it, just peace, because if it's going to happen, it's going to happen. You can't buy enough lottery tickets to guarantee yourself a win, so you might as well just stick with one ticket.
Well, I'm in the same boat as you. I mean, that's what I believed before I won back in the day. And sometimes people win on lots of tickets, but oftentimes, it's a single ticket. It only takes one ticket for a chance. And if you're buying hundreds of tickets, you're not really changing your chances. And if you believe what I believe, and it sounds like you believe that there's more going on with our energy and stuff, then literally it only takes one ticket. Thank you very much, Angela, for sharing your experience here today, and for your insights and everything with manifestation. It is super inspiring and interesting. But is there anything that you want to say about your experience, or anything else that I didn't ask, or that you just want to say today?
Be great if people could watch my tarot channel if they want to.
That's on YouTube. Your
Yeah,
tarot
just my
channels on YouTube.
YouTube tarot channel. Yeah.
Okay. Okay, and we can link to that in the description of this video.
Yeah, thank you. The last thing I want to say is a feng shui tip. So I mentioned at the start of this video, I do have a lot of manifestation techniques, the secret, like this thing. And feng shui, like, the Chinese are really into manifesting money. They have been for thousands of years. So the best feng shui tip is putting your toilet lid down. A lot of people don't do that. So apparently it's bad feng shui if you leave your lid up. The Chinese believe that you're flushing the money away if you don't close the lid after each use. And yeah, it does work. I always leave the lid down, and it does work really well. And I will tell you a story from my sister. This year, my sister bought a rental property. We were in, it had been, she'd had it listed to find some tenants for a week. And it was a Sunday afternoon, and I went round with her to do a few maintenance uh, things just before, well, to try and get it ready for new tenants. We came to the toilet, and I said to Louise, "You've got to keep the lid down. That brings in the money." And so she's like, "Okay." And so we closed the toilet lid. And yeah, that afternoon she got the application from a really fantastic tenant, and she accepted that one. So it works that quickly. It's another sort of manifestation technique, or a technique to not lose money.
Oh my gosh. Well, my toilet, I think it might be up as we speak, but that is going to be down as soon as this interview is over. It's going right down.
Thank you for watching, everyone. And yeah, thank you, Timothy. I really appreciate your time and being on this interview.
Yeah, thank you very much, Angela. I really, really appreciate it. And your story's like really inspiring. And congratulations on your recent win. And I'm so glad that you found this channel as well. So thank you for coming on to here and sharing your experience today.
So I'm literally looking at the machine on the top. It said Grand Jackpot. I just kind of froze. I could see the Grand Jackpot, like it kept climbing up. I could see it. A sea of people just formed behind me. It had to be at least 50 people. They're all screaming, running. How much did you win? How much is it? It just felt like a mind-blowing experience, or like an out-of-body experience. It felt surreal.